So in life, we have this journey that we're going. You know, we're born, we're brought in by our parents, and we're born in a certain part of the world, and we get certain traits, a certain name, and we go along to school eventually, and we get out of school eventually, and there's this path that we go on. And you know, so many times in life, people get misconstrued on why we're here. You know, like we're just here to maybe have a certain job, or we're just here to maybe drive a certain car, or we're just here to maybe live in a certain house. And what I challenge you guys tonight to do is to really think about the deeper reasons why you're here. You know, you're not here just to experience. That is a big part of the journey, but you're here to impact. Like there's a job that each and every one of us have that is just as unique as your fingerprint. You know, you were not put here to go to a job at 9 o'clock, clock out at 5 o'clock, go home and watch TV. That is not your existence. You were meant to do something. And sometimes in life we'll get clouded on that, and we'll forget that, and we won't be doing that, and we'll wonder why we're not fulfilled. Why we're not happy. I've been unhappy at times in my life. Why? Because I wasn't doing what I was put here to do. I was just going to a job, I was getting a paycheck to pay bills, to go to a weekend and try to forget about my week, and go right back on Monday. Anybody can relate? So, during that time I wasn't really happy. And I got to thinking about why am I not happy? Why am I not feeling good about what society told me I was supposed to do? I was always told as I grew up, you go to school, you get a job, you're good to go. And when I did that, it didn't feel good to go. Like I didn't feel like I was making an impact. And I started thinking about what is the impact I want? Like, why are we here? And that gets into, you know, impact. So impact is the things that are different because of you. You know, maybe it's a life change because you're a health coach. Maybe you're a lawyer and you help somebody get off on a case where they were, you know, falsely accused. Maybe it's you're some kind of fitness coach, like a soccer coach. Maybe you're a doctor. Maybe you just work at a company that is working to help people. Maybe a nonprofit. Maybe you love music. Maybe you love to perform to make people feel better about their life. Whatever it may be, impact is what you do that creates some kind of change in the world. And the mission that we have here as health coaches that I really want to touch on is a special mission. So a little bit of background about me. I was a physical therapist. I'll always be a physical therapist. That's where my doctor comes from. And I was a personal trainer in college. I actually started college as a mechanical engineer. I had an internship at Chevron right up the street in El Segundo, and I really didn't like it. I saw where that was going to lead. I was like, I don't want that lifestyle. I didn't want to be stuck in the office. I didn't really feel comfortable around the people. And I thought to kind of what Jackson and Andre were talking about, I thought back to what I love. And I really love being fit. I love working out because I came from a childhood where I wasn't that fit. They helped me get in shape, and I loved it. So kind of went in that direction. And then as I was a physical therapist, I kind of went that direction because I was like, I want to help people get fit too. I want to help people not have to go through the maladies that like a not fit lifestyle can lead to. So I was working with a lot of seniors. That was my beginning crowd. And it got to a point where I didn't feel like I was making an impact because I was seeing the same people over and over. And I was seeing people that I didn't feel like I could help. And I really wanted to help them because I knew how much it had done for me, but I knew that maybe it wasn't going to do as much for them, so I made the decision to really get into wellness. And that's why health coaching was so attractive to me. Like, when I came in here, I love the community, first of all. Like, who loves the community? The community is amazing. I just wanted to be around these kind of people. But then I started seeing the impact. Like, Holly, how many pounds have you lost? 84 pounds. I've never helped somebody do that, and that's life-changing. Like, Holly's life has changed forever. She's going to go on to lose 100, and so many, inspire so many people. Like, that is life-changing. That's impact. And, you know, what I was feeling like I was doing, I didn't feel like I was making impact. So I really wanted to get clear on what I wanted to do with my life. Like, what was my mission here? It wasn't to, you know, drive the nice cars. It wasn't to, you know, have the nice house. Those things would be great, but I wanted to help and be a part of somebody's journey like that. So that was why health coaching was so attractive. And then I started seeing a lot of the maladies, you know, firsthand. I was working with seniors that had to get hips replaced, knees replaced, shoulders replaced, all kind of other pulmonary and lung issues, heart issues, stroke issues. Stroke is where, like, there's not enough blood to the brain for a certain amount of time, and some of the brain tissue dies. Like, they couldn't walk so well. They couldn't see. They couldn't speak. Like, I saw these things, and it made me, I wanted to help them so bad. I felt really bad. Because it got to a point where it wasn't just them, it was the families I would see at the bedside. Like, it was the look in their eyes, and there was nothing I could do. All I could do was help them walk a little bit. That was an impact, really. So what I saw what health coaching was doing was going to change their grandchildren, which was one day going to become them. And how were they going to do that? They were going to make the healthy, active lifestyle and eating correctly and, nutrition cool, fun, easy, and understandable for everybody, so that when they grew into grandparents, it was already instilled in them. Because it hadn't been instilled in our earlier generations. My dad, it took my mom explaining to my dad that you get protein from a powder form. He didn't believe me when I said it. But that's just a different generation. You got to think about it. There was a generation in time that didn't equivalent smoking with cancer. Now we know it's like, oh, that's just, no, you don't do that. There was a point in time where that was what you did. Like, everybody smoked, they just didn't know. There was a point in time, our parents' generation didn't understand that if you sit down after work and watch Simpsons and drink Heineken beers, you can have a bad life. Like, you'll get overweight. Not only that, you'll start having back problems. Not only that, you'll start having circulation issues, heart issues. Like, they didn't know that. That was just what you did after work. So what's changed now in our generation, which is amazing, is we're starting to get more education, but it's also becoming more of a family and community, so where it's fun now. Like running by yourself, which a lot of other people before we had Big Club, imagine how else were you going to work out on a Sunday morning? You were going to work out by yourself. Or you were going to go to the gym by yourself. But now we've made it fun, and that was going to make a change in the years and the generations to come. So I got a few statistics. Hopefully it's not still. Is there any way I can get you on mic? So I looked up a few statistics about obesity, about some non-communicable diseases, which are called lifestyle diseases. Because now what I'm getting to is, okay, we're in an impact now. What are we here for? We're here for impact. And what do health coaches do? Health coaches have a mission. Like, I believe that health coaches will really change the world. We are already changing the world. It's so amazing. Dennis Dowdell, who was one of our very senior leadership, great guy. He was talking to a Kaiser executive. And the Kaiser executive asked him, who's your competition? Because he thought he was going to say anything. And he said, no, it's obesity. It's malnutrition. It's those things. It's not you. We're fighting the same battle. We're fighting the same battle as a 24-hour clinic. We're fighting the same battle as a Kaiser, as a children's hospital, as all those. We're all in the same battle against those things. So I looked up some stats because these are pretty frightening. And this is what the mission is. So, first of all, so this is in America. Adult obesity is at 35%. So obesity is a high, BMI is a body mass index scale. It's like how they measure your height to your weight. Obesity is a certain level and overweight is a little lower on that level. So obesity is 35%. That means 1/3 of people are obese today. 1/3. So think about your high school class. You usually had about 30, like 10 people are obese. Overweight is over 2/3, 68.8%. And we all know that overweight usually leads to obesity and not taken care of. So that's 2/3, 20 of your classmates in high school. And now let's get to children, which is really alarming. So I was overweight. I was chubby. And my friends didn't hesitate to let me know something. And it really was a tough thing to go through. I was in PE classes. I wasn't that athletic. I didn't play sports. I didn't make the team. And my friends didn't hesitate to let me know because they made the team. And it was really tough. And the toughest thing about it was I didn't know anybody. Kids don't know anybody. If you think about it, our schooling system teaches kids more about how to discover the angles of a triangle than what to put in their body. Like Pythagorean theorem, we do that back and forth. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. Oh, yeah. Simple cards versus complex cards. I don't know that. They never told us about that. So why, when kids got older and video games are so popular now, they have video games on their phone, on their iPad, at home, at a computer, every day. Why would they not get overweight now? Nothing but candy at school. Candy tastes good. Parents are really busy. What do? They get the kids what they want. So now you've got kids at 16.9% obese. Up 3 times from years previous, in previous generations. 3 times from our parents' generations. Overweight was over 30%. So these are your little brothers, these are your little sisters. And do you know, I can tell you guys from experience, growing up as an overweight kid is so hard on your self-esteem, your confidence, your outlook on life, your body image. Like, it's so tough. And the toughest thing is they just didn't know. Like, I didn't know. My friends didn't know. You know, some people naturally had a certain kind of body type. I didn't. And what we get to do is we get to make it cool for our little brothers, our little sisters, our children, our nieces and nephews, to where we can bring them to a big club. I love seeing my little brothers at big club. I love seeing kids at big club. We have family event on Sundays. It's amazing. And we get to show them that, no, not the candy. We have a shake that tastes just as good. Like I have a little, my little nephew loves the strawberry shakes from the kids line. He wakes up asking for it. I'm like, that's the best thing ever. Like, because it tastes good and it's got nutrients. Let's give these kids some nutrients. Because they don't know. They just want what tastes good. Why? Because our body is conditioned to want to have dense calories so we don't starve. We come from a time where it wasn't certain we were always going to get food. So our bodies are conditioned to get food when you can. So kids want a lot of sweet things so they can survive. It's a different life now. We're not worried about the next meal. So that was a really frightening statistic. Now we're going to get into NCDs, non-communicable diseases or lifestyle diseases. So the thing that hits me about these are diseases that can be prevented. This is what really hit me. So these are diseases like cardiovascular disease, heart disease, pulmonary disease, lung issues, diabetes. You know, it hurt me so bad when I saw somebody losing their vision from diabetes and they could no longer see their children or their grandchildren. There was nothing I could do about it at that point. Like nothing. And it was tough. It was really tough. What else does diabetes lead to? Diabetes is linked to Alzheimer's. Because what does diabetes do? Diabetes, there's two types. There's childhood onset, which is type 1. And there's type 2, which is like not exercise-induced bad diet onset. Usually adult onset, as it's called. And diabetes leads to poor circulation. It's where your body can't regulate the blood sugars in your body anymore well. So you have too much blood in your sugar, or too much sugar in your blood, and too little. But it also leads to circulation deficits. And I would see people literally get their legs amputated because of it. They would have to cut their legs off, their feet off, because their legs weren't getting circulation. If they didn't, their whole body would start to die. And it was so serious, like it's that kind of gravity where I was just like, what could I do to help this person? There was so little I could do then. What I did and what we are doing is changing the generations now so they don't become that. So there's a top 10 causes of death in America, and out of three of them are not communicable disease, meaning lifestyle, meaning preventable. So cardiovascular is number 1. Heart attacks, cardiovascular disease, ischemic heart attack, like all those things where the heart just isn't strong enough. And it's not getting enough circulation, once your heart goes, you're done. So strong heart also equals a strong mind. So that's why a lot of the issues that we see in old age we can't even see because they're not visible. You know, you can kind of see if the hip's messed up or a knee's messed up, or maybe somebody's not walking right, but you can't see when they're not thinking right, they're not thinking straight, they can't remember their child's name, they can't remember their grandchild's name, they can't remember their name. It's really tough to see that. Really tough. And 3 on there are cardiovascular disease, cancer, respiratory disease, and diabetes. So when you start seeing stuff like that, and you start to see what we do as health coaches, you start to see that there's a mission. Who's ever had a hard time as a health coach? Like you had a client quit, you maybe had people that didn't really support what you're doing. Let me see your show of hands. That's it? That's all the people have a hard time health coaching with something. Awesome. Okay, good. The rest of y'all are doing great. So I want you guys to remember when you're going through tough times. We're going to watch a video on your why and your motivation and getting clear with what you want and what you're willing to do for that. And I want you guys to relate it to the mission we have and how bad you want to help people. But anytime there's a tough time, I want you guys to remember, no matter what, no matter who believes, no matter what they say, no matter if your family supports, I want you guys to remember what we're here for as health coaches. And that's to better the lives of people through health, fitness, and nutrition. Like I would hear a lot of naysayers. My dad didn't believe in me. My family didn't really understand. My friends really didn't understand. But I want you guys to remember that as long as it doesn't matter what they say, as long as somebody gets a health result because of what you're doing. Like that's what, like when you talk about impact, like your ego versus somebody losing 10 pounds, getting a healthy, active lifestyle really ingrained in their life, and possibly avoiding diabetes for the rest of their life is worth much more. Can you agree with that? And that's what we get to do as health coaches. Like our mission is to fight obesity. Our mission is to fight malnutrition. Our mission is to fight people not believing in themselves. People not knowing how to do it. People not thinking they're worth it to do it. People not thinking that they can help others. People not thinking that they're enough to help others. Like, that's our mission. You know, the marketing plan is amazing. All the events are amazing. That's just amazing on top of what we get to do. But what we truly get to do and what we are doing is changing the world. And the reason I love health and wellness so much, and the reason I'm sure all you guys do, that's why you're here on Thursday night when most people are at home, is because you know how much of an impact you can make on somebody's life. Like, put it like this. If somebody can walk, like there's people in this world that can't even walk. Like, they can walk to the bathroom, they can walk to the store, they can walk to the park. That's so much better of a life than if they're stuck in bed. And that's the choices you get to make as you're starting to change people's lives. I want you guys to see that it's so much further than just a shake tea tag. It's so much further than that, what you're doing. You guys don't see the further impact when you change somebody else's life, the circle of influence that's watching them, that now has the door open for them to make a change, and then their circle of influence, like, it gets exponential. And it's just the beginning. Like, I have a vision for Herbalife, and I know it's going to come true. Like, you know the Time magazines, the Millennium Editions? Where they talk about maybe the moon, like it's landing on like that big stuff. There's going to be a picture of a fit club, and there's going to be Herbalife on it, and it's going to talk about the movement that defeated obesity. Like when medication did it. Like when all the other things did it. Like Fit Club, community, 100% mindset, and nutrition were the things that defeated obesity and forever changed the trajectory of this planet. And that's really what we're up to.